From mid-century to contemporary, public to private, we're in search of the very best in art, homes, happenings, stores, restaurants, and people. Things that defy categories. The perpetual freshness and cool of modern never ceases to captivate us. Join us for another edition of Modern Dallas TV to discover what's going on and where in the modern world. Modern Dallas Real Estate this week is here at 3815 Valley Ridge in the Midway Hollow subdivision in Dallas between Midway and Marsh, and I'm here with Clay Stapp with Clay Stapp & Company. Clay, this is a great modern.
It is. It's awesome. Love this house.
And it's located in a great up-and-coming neighborhood.
Right. Midway Hollow is really hot right now. Tons of new moderns coming on, and I think this one really stands out above the rest.
So there's a great architect involved, as well as there's great amenities.
Absolutely. Fifth Dimension was the architect. Holzenstein is the builder. And the interior amenity package is amazing. We got European-style cabinets, Bosch and Fisher-Paykel appliances. A great huge living area with wood beams that travel to the outside, and then obviously our beautiful fireplace here.
And electronically,
this house is loaded up. I mean, speakers in every room, wired fully for all your needs.
this house has great flow.
Yeah, it really does. As soon as you walk into a huge open room, living area. The master is on the first floor. Awesome master suite, master bathroom. And there's just a huge wet area with the shower and the tub combined. When you go upstairs, there's a huge game room / media room that opens up with huge windows, and then 2 more bedrooms. Just a great place to live.
So Clay, just walking in, one of the things that just hits you is this outdoor area.
Right, as soon as you walk in, you see a beautiful outdoor area. It's over 500 square feet of covered outdoor living space and plenty of room for a great pool.
It's a wonderful home. What's the house listed for?
The house is listed for $1.05 million, and you can find it on claystapp.co.
And if you want to find all the modern listings in Dallas, visit our website at moderndallas.net.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. The modern lifestyle begins in the home, and you'll find a range of unique living spaces across Dallas's most desirable neighborhoods. Start your search by meeting one of these modern realtors. Poget began his career with a degree in architecture, followed by years of interior design work, including the interior design of several luxury high-rises and commissions for clients' dream homes. Poget's distinct background makes real estate a natural fit. Modern Dallas Art this week is here at Barry Whistler Gallery. We're here to see the works by 2 very accomplished female artists, Ann Stautberg and Ellen FrancesTuchman. I'm here with Barry Whistler.
Nice to have you here. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Barry, Ann you've known for years. I mean, this is a long relationship.
Our 14th show with her. Yeah.
And Ellen, someone new you're working with.
We've worked with her some, but this is the first show that we've done with her with sort of this, focused group of pieces that we've got here today.
So both works very different.
Oh yes, yeah. Ellen's got the quill paintings, what she talks about, with the small pieces of paper that she's embedded onto mylar, and then we frame those up in one big 6-foot square, and then some smaller, and then Anne working with her hand-colored photographs. This is one of the pigment on canvas pieces in the large scale that she's wanted to begin to work with, so this was a nice way to introduce that.
So one of the things about Anne's body of work is Anne has a certain format of how she's been working for years. Tell us a little bit about her background and how she creates these wonderful pieces.
Well, what she has been doing, she was trained as a painter, but she early on began to do photographs and would hand color the photographs. So they're hand colored in a traditional way of like the old photographs of your grandparents or something with the cheeks red and all that. So photographic oils are used on the black and white photographs. And there's some of those in the show up here in the front. This piece is a pigment on canvas. So she's taken her original photograph and then had that scanned and then printed onto a canvas so we could get this scale. When we first put these up, I talked about I said it's like a dang drive-in movie theater in here. You walk in, you see the scale of these guys. So I think she's pleased with it. So got a nice variety.
And they definitely have an interesting feel as well as there's a concept behind each one of these.
The theme of the show is home, so these are all actually shot very near her home. And then just it happened to be that the hurricane came along, Harvey, which I think some people would look at this show and say, well, this is all about Harvey. And, you know, she lives down in Houston, and so it certainly can, you know, lend itself to that. But it was shot, most of them were shot before the hurricane.
Well, some of these pieces, I mean, the clouds are a little ominous.
Yes, they are. They are ominous clouds. Yes.
Ominous clouds. So moving on to Ellen's work, I mean, I've known Ellen for many years as well. I mean, she's got a unique style and a very unique format of how she works.
Mm-hmm. You might say it's meticulous or you know, very focused, and she's been working. She's got a couple of different bodies of work, and I decided to focus on this one body of the quill paintings. And there is that sort of overall thing that you could say is like a Jackson Pollock, but it allows you to get in up close and see the detail too. So.
And the pieces, as far as quill goes, what's different from her other bodies?
Well, the other body of work has more narrative to it, so there may be actual collages of small pieces of paper or matchbooks, or sometimes even beads, you know, being sewn onto the mylar. Whereas this is all the paper on mylar, and sometimes with makeup or something may be used for color as opposed to paint, so it gets a sort of a luminosity that's not necessarily a traditional paint. So.
It's an interesting process. Both of them are very accomplished. So the work is wonderful to see, especially in a show like this.
Well, thank you.
Barry, how long is the show going on for?
Goes through October 14th, and our address is 315 Cole, Suite 120. We're at the corner of Cole and Dragon, and you can get all the information on our website, barrymusselgallery.com.
Well, great show. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Modern Dallas this week is covering an important topic. When you buy a piece of artwork, you need great lighting. And there's certain aspects of creating great lighting that just don't show up when you need it. So this time we brought in Mary Thomas, a great artist and gallery owner, and one of her great pieces, and Monte Martin from Martin & Martin Design, who does this for a living, lighting artwork. So Mary, one of the interesting things that we hear today is you decided it was time to re-evaluate how you light your shows.
Yes. Well, I've known Monte for quite a while. He's a professional that we've worked with many times on lighting art and installing art. And so he was my immediate go-to person when I thought I would really like to create the drama in this exhibit and learn a little bit more about the real aspects of lighting art. So that's why I called him in.
So what we've sort of set up here and we're going to accomplish is we have one of your pieces and we're going to light it up, and we'll talk to Monte about the process and how it's done.
Okay, great.
So Monte, the reason we're here is Mary and Alberta had called you in because they had a bunch of lights lighting up the space. And they decided, you know what, maybe it's time to reevaluate how we light. And they reached out to you. So tell us, what is their process of buying a piece of artwork and then thinking about how to install the right lighting for the piece?
Yeah, so specifically to the gallery when we came in, you know, I just started looking, and I was going to be working with them and try to better the light. They had a great show up, very different, two different artists, very different ways you approach lighting for them. But the painted pieces have a lot of depth to them, like Mary's piece with layers, so you just have to approach it a little different. And so I was just working with them on that and talking through. So, you know, there's the equations of the light color, the height, you know, the light is from the artwork, how far back is the light source. And so it was evaluating that got us to a successful, you know, illuminated show that they were happy with, and ended up coming down with almost half of their lights. But at the end was a better illumination, and there was greater depth in the pieces because we took some of the overlighting away.
Right, and I totally agree. That was one thing I noticed coming into the gallery this show, that there was a significant difference, just color-wise. So let's actually show a little bit of what you actually do.
Yeah, so Mary's piece, again, is a painter that does a lot of layering, And in that, again, very different from the more metal pieces that are here in the show, but like her piece is very layered. And so in that, you can really, the light can either complement that and create that depth and that interest to the piece, really pulling someone in, or it tends to flatten it out. And even though LED today is kind of one of the things we talked about, is it's here to stay. It's a great product, but it's just not an exact one-to-one, and that's what we're going to show you with this. We'll put first on the halogen light, and you'll see the warmth and the depth and interest to the piece, and then once we've gone from that, we'll switch and go to the LED, and it flattens out the piece. It makes it much more cool. The oranges and reds and yellows get muted. So with this piece, immediately you saw when it was not lit, and now you see all these oranges and yellows, and then there's just a depth in there. This piece here with the highlights of the white that she painted on there really come out. And so let's go switch it to the LED and notice the difference what happens. So on the wall, the color's pretty much the same, but yet this red and yellow orange area isn't nearly as predominant or prevalent. The white highlights aren't nearly they don't come off as much. They tend to recess into the cools of this the back layers. So it's subtle, but when you see the difference, there it is again.
It's unbelievable.
So subtle, but very different, because if you see the whites on the wall, it's not that much of a difference, but on the painting it is.
So this is in the gallery, and we know the work sells and it goes into homes. From that point of view, there has to be somewhat of a different agenda of what needs to be created to give this kind of feel in a home.
Sure, and so galleries and museums predominantly are using track lighting. It gives a versatility to the types of track heads, the positioning of where the tracks can be to illuminate the works. In a home environment, you want it to that light to look like it was originally designed in. It works with what I call the ambient lighting of the room. So it's a little different equations. When it gets down to the color, the type of light to illuminate art, all that is still the same. It's just the equation is a little more complex, with varying ceiling heights, distance back, working in with existing lighting if you just bought the piece, taking it home and now I want to light it. So they compound the equation, but still it can be done, it can be achieved. There's product out there today that can give you a really well-lit collection in your home, just like you saw it in the gallery.
So we know what you can do with great artwork, but sculpture has its own identity and a whole different agenda.
Yeah.
This piece is a house with a rock in its orangey color. I mean, you really brought it to life.
Thanks.
What does it take to do this piece, and obviously some of the other sculptural pieces?
Yeah, sure. Sculpture is very different. You always want to have at least 2, if not 3 points of light to create the three-dimensional, where the two-dimensional, usually it's 1 to 2 lights that are doing it, but those need to come at different angles to help create or accentuate the three-dimensional quality of the sculpture. One of the things, back to earlier conversation about height and distance back and everything, especially in a home, if you have in a niche or something, one of the biggest issues can be it's kind of top lit, where the front of the object or sculpture isn't illuminated, which immediately you lose your interest. But if you can be far enough back, like in the gallery, we can get it from multiple points and really accentuate the three-dimensionality to it. Shadows begin to come into play that really also complement the piece. And so, yeah, it's a little different. Multiple points at multiple angles is what helps that three-dimensional quality to sculpture really come alive, like the piece here.
So with all that said, whether it's art, whether it's sculpture, the way to show it is with great light.
Yes.
How can they find you if they need more information?
martinandmartindesign.com is our website, or our office number is 214-252-0692.
And if you want to see the art pieces in this show at Mary Thomas Gallery, visit them on their website at marythomasgallery.com. Thanks.
Thank you.
The modern lifestyle begins in the home, and you'll find a range of unique living spaces across Dallas's most desirable neighborhoods. Start your search by meeting one of these modern realtors. Poget began his career with a degree in architecture, followed by years of interior design work, including the interior design of several luxury high-rises and commissions for clients' dream homes. Poget's distinct background makes real estate a natural fit. To wrap up this edition of Modern Dallas TV, we cover local modern events and the art scene. Check out the calendar and the arts page on our website at moderndallas.net. There are always great events from the Dallas Architecture Forum, Preservation Dallas, and the Dallas Center for Architecture has great walking tours in downtown Dallas. Open houses every week, always a great selection. You can create your own mini mod home tour. And Todd Camplin covers the art scene for us, from art galleries to museums and artists. You can check out his page on the website. And lastly, if you're in the market for a modern, mid-century modern, contemporary, home, high-rise or loft, we simply have the finest moderns in Dallas. For this week, we appreciate you being part of our show. We'll see you later.